How's it going, everybody? Doing horror movies. Rambler today, horror thrillers. Ghost type movies, haunting type stuff as well. Haven't done one in a bit. I was in the mood. I like talking horror movies, so. I have a stack here, which you would see in the thumbnail. I'll get to those. I want to briefly talk about one we watched. Was it Friday or Saturday night? One of the two. I think it was Friday night. Called Undertone. I found this movie, of course, once it comes out. Seems like horror games, horror movies. Some people are not going to be creeped out by the same things that other people are, right? But this movie, it was creepy. It was very basic in that this girl's taking care of her mother, who's like comatose pretty much. She's upstairs in her bed. And she does, like, I guess, this podcast thing with this other dude, her friend, about creepy stuff. She's like the skeptic or whatever. But the other guy on the other end, her partner in this podcast, gets these like recordings in an email from. You'd think they were sent from the people, but there's like 10 recordings and stuff. And as they start going through the recordings during these episodes, shit for her starts getting worse, and you find out from there certain demons and everything. I'm not gonna spoil it. It's very slow moving. I don't mind that. It does a good job, this movie, because it's in like kind of a tight space. They're in, I guess it's the mother's house, but she's hanging out usually in the dining area, and she goes up to the room with the mother, and you know, she's walking around this kind of, it's not a big house, right? It's a pretty tight area. And the way the cameras are set up, like, you're always like looking in the corners. I feel like a lot of people do this in horror movies these days. You're like, what's going to appear in a certain spot? But it does a good job of having you like feel like, oh, something's going to come, and then it doesn't. Then other times something does happen, and it ramps up very heavily towards the end. I really liked it. I like those kind of movies. It reminded me a little bit of, just because it was a lot of, you know, the audio messages and stuff like that, and she's listening to things kind of over and over to pick up on things. The movie Leaving DC, which I've talked about, I believe that came out in like 2015 or 14. But I've talked about this before. That was the one where the guy, I guess he worked in Washington, D.C., and he moves out into the woods, a house in the woods in West Virginia. And he could work from home, but he pretty much has to go in like once a week or some shit. I think it's like maybe 3 hours away or something, right? It's not far away. I don't know how long it would be from West Virginia to... I'm pretty sure it's West Virginia he moved to D.C. I almost kind of want to see this. Oh, it doesn't matter. Maybe it's 4 hours. Oh, who the fuck knows? It doesn't really matter. But he moves there, and like the first night one of the first nights, he's hearing something in the woods. And then he sets up a little recorder by his window every night. And every morning he goes over it, and you're hearing singing and flutes playing and all types of stuff. It's cool. And I don't think you ever see anything, actually. You know what it is. You find out like what's out there, but you don't like see it. Really, another really good movie. I saw it on Amazon back then. I don't know if it's still on there. Probably on Tubi. But I've got movies here like Ravenous, which is like a black comedy, horror comedy about the wendigo myth. If you consume someone, you like take their soul and their powers type thing. You get stronger as you eat people. Got Robert Carlyle, Guy Pearce, David Arquette. Are the main three. No, I guess not. Arquette really isn't. Jeffrey Jones probably is. Neil McDonough's in here as well. Jeremy Davies. But I love this. Is one of my favorite movies. This and Blair Witch bounce between number 1 and 2. It's really good. The acting's great. It takes place in the Sierra Nevada. This Guy Pearce's character goes. He's kind of disgraced during the war because he's a coward, but then he gets thrown with the bodies of his comrades and his fellow soldiers. He plays dead, and all of a sudden, because he wants to just get out of there, and all of a sudden the blood from one of the dead bodies goes into his throat, and he gets the power, the strength, and the confidence to like take over the fort and stuff. And you see, he's a hero but a coward at the same time, and he gets sent to this fort in like the Sierra Nevadas. I forget exactly where it is. It just says Sierra Nevada Wilderness. And he's there with other people, and Robert Carlyle shows up, and he's telling the story about what happened. Oh, this guy came. And there's twists. I'm not going to spoil everything, but it's good. It's funny parts. It's gory. Good ending. I love this movie. But I like a lot of, I really like the paranormal type stuff, the haunting stuff. I can't get enough of it. Even the fake shit you see on TV with the shows, which you know are scripted and fake, 95% of it, if not all of it. Most of them get exposed as being fake too. Like that one that was in the UK. What was it called? It was an older one. But the woman got like caught on camera making a noise. She was like, whatever she was doing. She's like, did you hear that? It's on camera. Everybody's like, okay, this is full of shit. The ghost hunters, I think it was, what were their names? Jay and Grant. Grant, one time he got caught. He was pulling a string for his hood. And he's like, oh my God, something pulled it. He got busted. And then he disappeared from the show. And now I think he does ghost hunters again. While Jay and a few of the other original guys do their own thing. You can't trust any of this shit. You know why? Because, and I used to love this stuff, and I still watch it because it's still entertaining at the very least. And then Ghost Adventures blew it out of the water with how fantastical they made this shit. It went from, damn, this is creepy to Zach Bagans and everybody getting possessed every 5 minutes. And them yelling at you. Some people would say he used his possession as an excuse to fucking berate everybody else on the show. It was his excuse to yell at him because he deep down wanted to. The problem is that some of these people get a little too big and they get an ego and then it's all about them. But anything that's recorded is going to be scripted. It's going to be edited. They have a fucking cast of people doing all this shit, I'm more interested in some of the YouTube videos, which could also be faked. A lot used, and then I watch the debunkers, as well. So, but anyway, I find that much stuff more believable. YouTube videos, and obviously a ton of that's fake too. But because it's not a show, it's usually you could edit that as well, obviously, and set it up. But that's why they say seeing is believing. When you have your own experiences, you're a little more. But I don't sit here and say everybody's full of shit either. But anyway. I still love that stuff, regardless. Because it's still creepy, a lot of it. But especially the movies, like the haunting type movies and stuff. You're going all the way back to Amityville Horror and stuff like that, The Exorcist. There's one, it was called Ghost Story. I think it was just called Ghost Story from back in the day. Maybe this was made in the 80s. The house is haunted, and the people are like, we gotta just leave. We gotta get away from this. I specifically remember this. The thing follows them. They go camping in the woods. You see a little spirit following them. And then the neighbors, because nobody's at the house, the house is going nuts when they're not there. Lights are going on and off, all types of noises. And the neighbors are like, what the fuck? That was a good one. I think it was just called Ghost Story. But you have a lot of those now where, there's a lot of haunting type stuff. And just a lot of jump scares, but then creepy kind of stuff that you might not even see the first time. That happened in Undertone. My fiance didn't see it, I did. Door closed, small mirror, you see the mother standing in the mirror, even though she's laying in bed. And I was like, rewind that. I thought I saw something, and it was there. Those are the things that kind of give you the chills when they do it right. You have stuff like 1408. This is based on a Stephen King short story, I believe. It's John Cusack, Samuel L. Jackson. It's mainly just John Cusack. He stays in the haunted room, 1408. Most people leave within 5 minutes. He stays there. He starts seeing shit. Everything's happening and stuff. It's a good movie. I like this one. This is made, and John Cusack's not over the top, because John Cusack sometimes, great actor, but in his movies sometimes he's hamming it up sometimes too fucking much. Sometimes a movie will call for it. Other times you're like, what is the overacting for? But he's good in this. Samuel L. Jackson's in here, but he's not in a shit ton of it. It's mainly just him in the room and shit happening and his mind getting fucked with and everything the spirit's doing and shit. You got stuff like It Follows. I'm going to be all over the place, I've said this before. This is kind of the new, when did this come out, like 2014? 2021? No, 2014, okay, 2014. They have other dates on here from, I guess, other things. I think this movie legitimately came out in 2014, though. Yep. But I can't believe it's 12 years since it came out. Almost 12 years, probably. This is one where if you have, like, I guess there's a curse. You don't really, I don't think you ever follow. I think they're making a second one, but I don't think you ever find out. It's been a while where this curse started, but the guy has, is it Mika Monroe? Is that how you say her name? See, I cannot. It's against the gray lettering against the black background. I can't see the names. There it is. Maya. I don't know how to say it. Her boyfriend has her tied up in the beginning, and she's like, he's like, I'm so sorry, I have to do this. And something's coming towards her. She escapes, but then you find out you have to have sex. It's like a curse through this, where this, if you keep having sex, it goes down the line. So the thing has to go. The thing goes after the most recent person that's been inflicted by this curse, and then if it kills that person, it goes back to the next. It's got to go backwards. So you're pretty much always buying yourself time. And of course, the thing's not really booking it at you, and it's usually just like a person, something creepy, what the person's seeing. But you can buy yourself time. Like, you can get on a plane and fly somewhere. This thing, I assume, would just walk through the ocean. It would be a little while till it got to you. But you want to kind of pass this to as many people as possible. So it has to go through all of them to get to you, so you're buying time. It's a cool movie. Some people hate it. I thought it was cool and different. But you get these kind of movies, these thrillers, these horror movies now, that are trying to do different things, which I can respect even if I'm not into it. You got possession movies. Exorcist obviously did this back in the day. Taken over by the devil or just a demon or whatever. A regular demon or Satan himself. If he's in the mood. He's in the mood to grace a body with his presence. I'm coming in. These other lower level demons aren't getting it done. Time to bring out the big boy. This is a cool one. This has it's this hand here. And it's just a cement hand, like it was formed in a mold. And if you hold this thing for a bit, something takes you over and you end up in this thing. But you don't want to hold on too long, because you'll get fucked. And that's what happens. Like I think the girl here, the main girl, wants to get into, I think it's her dead mother she wants to get in contact with. But her brother or somebody, I forget who it is exactly, maybe a friend, holds it too long, and he gets possessed. And it's brutal for this kid. He's bashing his head into shit. He's destroying his body. The demon is whatever's in him. He's in the hospital. The girl ends up getting taken over. She goes into Eve. It's a downer of an ending. It's a unique kind of way to the possession. They turn into a party at first. Don't hold on too long. And we're all getting fucked up and everything, And then it, goes too far. It's a cool movie. I haven't watched it in a bit. I did pick this one up, but I have not watched it since I picked it up. I saw it in the theater originally. I like when they have commentaries. I like watching and listening to the commentaries on stuff. It adds rewatchability to a movie. Well, this is a good one. There's the old Blair Witch. I've talked about Blair Witch. Insane. You get a lot of found footage stuff, too. This was not the original found footage thing. It shot it into the stratosphere. There's something called, there was some woods one, I think, that might have came a little before this. But there's one without, I'm pretty sure it's on Tubi and Amazon. The Last Broadcast. And that came out maybe a couple of years before this. Where this guy leads his people into the woods. This is kind of news people or whatever, I forget the full thing. But there's a twist in there. But it's kind of cool. And it was definitely predates this. But this is shot it off where all of a sudden they were coming out constantly. And now they still do. And some are good, some are bad. This one's fantastic, Blair Witch. It's creepy. You never really see anything. It's all in your... You have to worry about, like, all these kids are trapped in the woods. You got to worry about unseen forces, and you also have to worry about starving to death and shit. It's really well done. You couldn't do this with known actors at the time because it wouldn't do as well. And when you listen to the commentary, how they went about filming and stuff, it's great. I'm not going to talk about it. Shit, I've talked about it a ton, but I love it. You got stuff like Below, which is another kind of ghost thriller. I do like submarine movies. This one is a thriller in that I think they pick up what is it here? They go to rescue somebody. Yeah, they pick up survivors off a U-boat. And then you, like, find out, like, kind of past sins of people and ghosts and stuff. I haven't watched it in a while. I picked it up again on 4K. No, I haven't watched it since I picked it up. But I remember liking it. It's directed by the guy who directed it. He did Pitch Black. I don't know if he did all of those movies, the Riddick movies, but he definitely did Pitch Black. He might have did the others as well. David Toohey. But it's cool. I like these kind of thrillers. Especially when you're in the tight space of, like, a sub and shit. You know? These kind of things are nice. You got stuff like Night of the Creeps, which is also like a comedy horror as well. I haven't opened this one. I haven't seen this in years, too. This is like alien things take over bodies, like an ooze type stuff. And then it goes, you know, it says on the thing, the good news is your dates are here, the bad news is they're dead, you know. So it's a comedy horror. It's a classic. Monster Squad, of course, is fucking... This is more of just a kind of basic kind of horror movie. Monsters movie. You got Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, the Wolfman, mummies in there, I believe. And the kids gotta fight him off and shit. But you got all the stuff, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Halloweens, which I'll talk about a little more. Friday the 13th, the classic franchises, Nightmare on Elm Street, shit like that. Even the Paranormal Activities have a ton. And I like the Paranormal Activities. Some of them. The first one was great, saw it in the theater. The second one was good. Starts to lose a little bit by the third. Wasn't into the fourth. The fifth one, I think it was called The Marked Ones. I like that one. Then the Ghost Dimension one I did not like. And then they made another one, I believe, that took place. I think it was Paranormal Activity. Kind of in the woods. It was like a cult type thing going on. I think that was a Paranormal Activity movie. I could be wrong, though. I didn't like that one that much either. You know, Saws are more thrillers, but they're also gory as fuck. They're kind of a little bit of torture porn. That became a thing for a while, too, with, like, Hostel movies and Touristas, right? Has a similar vibe. Even the, not as much, well, I can't remember the fucking name of them. They're not really, I guess, too much torture porn, actually. Well, I can't remember the name. There's a bunch of them. The fuck? Wrong Turn. The Wrong Turn movies. Those can be hit or miss, too. Some are really good, some are not. But they're not as much torture. There's more people in the woods. And gory ways of dying. I'm not a huge fan of the torture porn type stuff. Like, the Hostels are fine, but it's like, all right, yeah, I got it. Everybody's getting tortured now. Some of them do it good, like the Strangers. That's more you're torturing, but you're tormenting them as well, mentally at first. And then they made, because the first one is based off, I think, I'm probably wrong here, a French movie called They, or Them, it's called Them. That one's nuts. Spoilers here on that one. Because that one, it's like 15-year-olds tormenting the people. At the end of the movie, they get on their bikes and or they go to the school bus and go to school, I'm pretty sure. Like, it's like, holy shit. But the first one, I think Liv Tyler's in the remake here, The Strangers, was still good. I like The Strangers Pray at Night. Then they did The Strangers 1, 2, 3, these newer ones. I think they're directed by Rennie Harlan. Here comes the cat. Psst, come on up. The first one was decent, and the first one you're like, oh great, it's gonna be torture porn the whole time, but they barely get suffer at all in terms of physically until the one guy. Well, I'm spoiled, but up until that, it's a little more. And I was like, pretty decent, and then it went downhill from there. They got worse as they went along, at least to me. You got stuff like The Frighteners, also kind of gory over the top. This is actually not too gory. Michael J. Fox is like a fake kind of medium type dude, and then he can really see ghosts and stuff. I think he sees the ghost, but he uses the ghost to scam people. Like, oh, I'll get rid of him type thing. It's been a while since I've seen this. I have not opened this one. It's directed by Peter Jackson, actually. This one was cool. Then there ends up being a real killer and things get more like a ghost killer or whatever, and it gets more serious. But you have stuff like this Sam Raimi shit, the Evil Deads, which are creepy but over the top. People are getting tormented in that as well. But that involves like demons and stuff like that. Possession. They're still making those. But he also does stuff like Drag Me to Hell. And he loves his like over the top gross shit. Stuff getting vomited into people's mouths. People getting just crap all over them. Blood and guts everywhere. Drag Me to Hell's really good. That does a lot of that. And he kind of had that in the Doctor Strange movie he directed. That had a lot of gore in there, I think, as well. I only seen parts of it where... is it the Scarlet Witch? Is that her name? I don't know. She takes out like a version of some group. I forget what the Illuminati were they called. She takes them out gory type, This is very Sam Raimi kind of staple to it. He just did that movie, Send Help. I'm pretty sure he directed that one, which was good. That was more of a thriller kind of type thing too, which was good. Then you have stuff like the Halloweens. These are the more recent ones, Halloween 2018 and then the Halloween Kills. I've talked about Halloween Ends too much. Didn't like it. Wasted opportunity. Cheesiest fucking parts. This one's excellent in my opinion. This one is alright outside of some stupid parts. I need to watch this extended cut. I haven't yet to see how much different it is, if it makes it better. They should have stopped it at that second one and kind of did the ending of the last one. But, whatever. The original Halloween, one of the best thriller type kind of horror movies, thriller, whatever. Movies. It's just a fantastic movie, and it could fucking happen. And then Halloween 2 solid, that one. Canonically, the only ones that matter are the original, and then these. They've had to change that repeatedly because it changed hands and everything. Season of the Witch is its own thing. With they're making the Halloween masks, and the end of that's not good either for the people. It's a completely different movie, and Michael Myers is not it. I think John Carpenter wanted to do movies like every year like that were, because I think he still was part of that one, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, anyway. But he wanted to do different kind of stories for different movies. Like, oh, this one's about that, and this it's not always going to be Michael Myers. And then 4 and 5 were directed by somebody else, and 6. And they're alright for what they are, but they're not great. Then H2O was originally canon to the original. And then they wiped that out. I like H2O. What was the next one called? Was it Resurrection after that? Where, spoilers, it happens in the beginning. He finally kills Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis. That movie's cool at first and then goes downhill. Then you have the Rob Zombie ones, which... The first one I thought did some cool stuff, but overall I do not like those movies. It was too like, oh... Michael Myers is the way he is because his stepdad was an asshole, and his mom was a stripper, he was picked on or something. No. The reason it works so well in the original is because the kid was just born evil. Some people are just born with nothing there, and that's infinitely more fucked up, Because that's a real life thing. Some people are just born that way. Their mind is not, everybody has a different mind. I hated that they try to put... Because he did some cool stuff with the asylum in the first Halloween movie, Rob Zombie one, where it was cool. Like I said, there was cool elements there, but don't try to give it a reason why he was fucked up, He should just be evil, like some people are just evil. Unfortunately. Something's not there, but I like most of them. I don't hate any of them, really. I just, some are just like, all right, he's going to kill some people. There's some creepy moments, but they try to do this stuff with the Curse of Michael Myers, which there's two versions of that. I talked about this too. I had the origin on bootleg, and my friend saw the Curse in the movie theater. He's like, oh, let me borrow that. I want to watch it again. He brings it back. He's like, dude, this movie's like completely different. Like, it's like the ending's different. There's like another half hour, 40 minutes that's completely fucking different. You can find it on, I think you can watch it on YouTube. And I taped over that bootleg because I was taping over bootlegs back then, the VHS tapes. It's like, oh shit, I could have sold that for like $100 on eBay. But they try to bring like, oh, Michael Myers is being controlled. See, this is even before, what's his name tries to explain it, Rob Zombie. They're like, oh, there's a cult that he's part of, or these people control him and say, I can't remember all of it. It was also stupid. He ends up killing like all those people though, at least. But also it was like, no, what? He's just born fucking evil. Yeah, a lot of Event Horizon's another classic in space horror, where like the one ship like went to hell and back. I haven't seen that in a while. I need to watch that again. Apparently they're doing another one. You have stuff like the Alien movies that are horror movies. Just with an alien, but still horror movies in my opinion, obviously. Thrillers as well. Silence of the Lambs, thriller. A fucking classic. Red Dragon, not as much for me. Manhunter, when Brian Cox was the original Hannibal Lecter. He played him first. He's not really in a lot of Manhunter, but Manhunter's a Michael Mann movie. It has the look of like Miami Vice, but it's a great fucking thriller. It's fucking awesome. It doesn't get a lot of credit. William Peterson plays whatever that detective's, the guy that caught him, the FBI agent that caught Lecter. He's in there, played by Edward Norton, I believe. Right? Red Dragon wasn't bad, but Anthony Hopkins was too caked up with makeup because he was playing a younger version of himself, even though he's a lot older in real life. It's funny how you see, like, what's his name's not in it a ton in Manhunter, because he really isn't in the book, I believe. Like, he consults him, obviously. Will something is the detective's name, William Peterson. I think his name is actually Will in the book as well. But William Peterson plays him, but he plays. And other characters are in it from Silence of the Lambs as well, just playing different people playing the roles. The FBI director, I believe, is there as well. Starling, Clarice is Jodie Foster, Starling. Clarice, you heard the lambs, Clarice. Didn't you at night? He's always like, that's what he does. Like, you were 10 years old, Clarice, and you heard the lambs. Your father came in. You heard the lambs, Clarice. The screaming. And then it's like, shut up. Dude, whatever. He's fantastic as Lecter. But like Brian Cox's portrayal is more almost like, this guy he's not like a fantastical villain. Like, you're like, holy shit, dude, this guy's a cannibal killer. And he could be a regular, like, you could see him in real life and not even know it. Like with Lecter, with, what's his name? Anthony Hopkins, like, yeah, dude, he's fucking over the top. Glory, like, he's like, what would the word be? Like, he's like eccentric and shit. But it's an incredible role. Like, don't get me wrong, it's fucking awesome. He's awesome in it. But Red Dragon I like as much as Manhunter. And Hannibal was really good too. But Brian Cox's portrayal was different. It was also a very good portrayal. And then Mads Mikkelsen plays him in the show, right? And then there was another Hannibal Rising. I don't know who played him in that. Where that's when he was younger. But they're great thrillers. Kind of horror thrillers, right? I'm going to be going for a few more minutes here, then I'll stop. I want to talk about the Tartan Asian Extreme. I did talk about these. Tartan Asian Extreme. Movies briefly when I picked them up. Great disc rattle. I want to pick more of these up. I used to love these back in the day. I did these them out on DVD. Old Boy is part of this. That's more of a thriller. Audition is more of a thriller, very demented movie where she's got a guy in a sack who has like no tongue or feet or hands, and she barfs in a bowl and he eats it. And she makes this weird noise when she's like taking people's feet off. She's like, Old Boy's great. You had stuff like this where more paranormal type stuff haunting. They do it great over there in the East. They have a feel like they'll make a normal house And it could be Korean, Japanese, whatever. And they really get it down pat with the creepy. Like they'll be in their house, and their house is just a regular house, but it has such a creepy vibe to it. They do so well with it. And a lot of the westerns, like The Ring, Ringu, Ju-on, The Grudge, they remade a bunch of them. They remade Shudder. And they are not. I love the Ring movie, but it's not as good as the Japanese version. But and the first Grudge is good too. But these things are just, to me, it's super creepy. Drew Ray the Uncanny is another one, but that wasn't part of this. Tarnation Extreme. There's a lot that are part of this. Tale of Two Sisters. They don't hold back either. The cat's like, what noise do you make? But search these out. You can find a lot of these on eBay for not that. Some are more expensive than others, but these ones are cheap. Cello is another one that I remember seeing back in the day. A lot of them are like urban legends type stuff, like Slitmouth Woman and shit, and ghost stuff, hauntings and shit like that. It's super well done though. I like horror from everywhere, and they have different flavors from where they're made. And they use stuff in Europe as well. I watched one. I think it was from Turkey. It was a Turkish one. I think it was called Control. She wants to get pet. Look at her. Not gonna bite me though, right? There's like a serial killer or somebody like in the subway system over there. That was a good one. There was one called Penumbra. I think that one was from Brazil. I could be wrong. That's a cult involved one, which is good. That has a crazy fucking ending. There's a lot that I'm forgetting as well, like I typically do with these rambles. But I just like talking about horror movies in general. Like, and yeah, the found footage ones. There's one called Butterfly Kisses that I've talked about. That's really good. You could probably find that. That's like a guy filming an urban legend type thing, and then people filming him. Oh no. What are you doing? Is that cat out there? She'll see the cat. There's a cat that comes around. She watches the window, and she wants to get out there. We let her out on the front porch in the back deck, and we forgot to or my fiance didn't put the thing up, and she wanted to do something real quick. Or she took it down and wanted to do something real quick, and the cat was out there, and Hannah chased her onto the lawn. Like, she wants to attack this fucking cat. But, and Cat's Eye. You got a lot of Stephen King books turned into horror movies. A lot of horror type books are turned into that shit. And his thrillers and stuff. Like Needful Things is a great one. And The Shining. Which he didn't like, the Stanley Kubrick one. And then they made the TV one that was pretty good. I'm not going to say it wasn't good, but it's hard to top that original. But if someone's going to criticize the movie, you can't really get on the author. You can disagree with him, but you can't be like, you're wrong. You know? You can say, I don't agree, but he's going to say, hey, I wrote it. But The Mist, which they changed, he loved the ending to that. They changed that. That's got a downward ending. Holy shit. But he loved the ending of that one. The ending's different in the book. You know, stuff like Carrie, and now he's got The Long Walk Out that came out. Running Man is his. Green Mile. But more of the horror kind of stuff like Salem's Lot, Pet Cemetery, The Langoliers. Then you got stuff like the Hellraisers, the franchise. They're great movies, the first two. The second one, those movies get under my skin, man. Your own personal hell. And the person's down there. It's a lot of wires through the face. And just demented, fucked up shit, man. They're great movies, though, the first two. Especially the first one where the guy escapes from hell. And the woman has to bring him bodies for him to eat so he can regrow his body. And then the Cenobites, with Pinhead and the others, come to get him, bring him back and shit. And fucking, they're all messed up looking. It's always the pleasure and the pain. And the other ones I don't like as much, but they do have definitely bizarre killings and stuff. Like, I think he morphs two people. Somebody gets morphed, like the two faces together and shit. But the first two get under my skin. They did do another one later on. I did watch it. I can't remember who was in it. That was decent. I like those. I'm about to end this now anyway. I'm going a little too long. and I want to get it up by like 11 o'clock. So I filmed in 7:20, so we'll upload faster. 11 a.m. But I could talk about horror movies for a long time. Like, I'm missing a lot now, as always, you know. I'm trying to think of some more recent ones that I was super into. Stuff like Ready or Not is more like also comedy, kind of gory type of stuff, kind of thriller, more type of thriller. I'm trying to think of some other of those, the kind of It Follow types when I'm forgetting a ton of them. But I typically like them, those types of movies. I don't know, they're different. Even if I don't, I could respect them trying something different. Because it's hard nowadays to come out with an original movie. So much has been done already, right? Come on, bud, you're making noise. I'm trying to think of some we could watch recently. Then you have ones involving sharks and other animals, you know, trying to get people. Or whales as well. Orca. Richard Hash back in the day. They're like, hey, Jaws worked with a shark, let's make one with a killer whale. Then you have like Deep Blue Sea and stuff like that, which also shark related. Deep as blue as my hat is like a Sharks fan. I'm missing franchises, obviously. It's hard. I forget a lot. I want to think of a few more of those kind of It Follows types, and I can't think of them now. You have stuff like Crimson Peak, The Woman in Black, those types as well. People Under the Stairs is a fucking classic. That's more of a thriller, also a satirical type of movie. That's a Wes Craven, I believe. Which is great. The Screams, the Whodunits, the Screams. The first Friday the 13th is a Whodunit. Then it turns into what it was. Although, I've said this before, even though he only wore the sheet over his head, the pillowcase with the one eye hole, he's creepier in that than the mask is iconic, right? And I use that there. That actually is an iconic thing. It's not like I took a shit today. It was iconic. But the hockey mask is more the thing. But the pillowcase with the one eye hole is infinitely fucking creepier. With his overalls. I think the second one, he gets like kicked in the nuts and he like runs off. He's like, oh. The second one's cool because half the people don't die. They go out to the bar and the other half stay. It's like the Jeepers Creepers, another franchise. The second Jeepers Creepers, half the people from the bus like run off into the fields and you don't hear about them again. I assume they got away. The first one has the downer at the ending. The second one has a cool ending where they know he's going to come back and they have him like chained up to the wall and the guy's just waiting for him to wake up again so he can immediately kill him. You got Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me, the prequel to the show. That movie got shit on when it came out. Now people look at it differently. It's a creepy, weird movie, but Twin Peaks is extremely weird. A lot of David Lynch stuff is strange, which is cool. I like it. You got the found footage stuff like the Hell House LLCs. The first one's incredible. The other ones are decent, but they lose a little bit as it goes on. There's been like 5 of those now. We watched the most recent one somewhat recently. There was one that came out. It had the woman from the first 2 Paddingtons. She was the mother. She's been in a bunch of stuff. What was it called? Bring Her Back. That was a good one. That was a disturbing one. Like I said, I'm forgetting a lot. You have one with creatures and shit as well. Like that one. It was a Netflix original, I believe. The guys in Britain, they go over into the woods to camp. I think their one friend died in a robbery. And the one feels bad because he kind of pussed out and didn't help. I forget. Rafe Spall is in it, I think. Is he one guy's in it? But they go take a hike, and then there's like this cold shit going on in the woods, and there's this weird fucking creature. I can't remember what it's fucking called, though. But there's tons. I mean, listen, I've forgotten a lot. Every time I do these, I forget a bunch. But Undertone was cool. You have the Sinisters, which have some interesting kills. When they go through the tapes, the people getting run over by the lawnmower and shit. The Insidious movies are pretty solid. Not the last one as much. Same thing. I forgot. I'll end it on the Conjuring movies. That last Conjuring movie I didn't like too much either. Some of the early ones are great, but that's a whole universe with the Annabelles, the Conjurings, the Nun movies. The Nun movies are cool because they're like part detective movies, part horror, and supernatural. As Above, So Below is a great movie that got shit on. Really cool. That movie starts off as like an Indiana Jones type movie. Then they get into the catacombs in France and in Paris, and then it gets crazy. And I really like that movie. People, they shit on that movie. I'm like, that's a good fucking movie. But I forget a lot of them. Let me try to look. I don't know why I'm forgetting so many. I'll just go a little longer. Fuck it. I'll say recent supernatural movies. Come on. I'm going to say supernatural because they're weirder. No, we won't talk about the Sonos or the Resident Evils. But the Black Phone movies were good, both of them. I forgot about those. Those are kind of in that kind of vein, I guess. There's like a few specific ones that I'm trying to remember. Not the Babadook. Have I ever seen that? The Night House was pretty good. Possum was cool. That's just a creepy movie. That's by the guy, Matthew Holness. He directed that, who did Garth Marenghi's Dark Place and stuff. That's like a real fucking depressing. That's the kind of movie you watch once and you're like, I can't watch it again. The Ritual, I think, was the name of that movie. It popped up here. The Visit was a good one. Long Legs was creepy and weird. With what's his name? That's the one with Nicolas Cage. That was like a thriller type. Smile. Lights Out was cool. I always forget about Lights Out. I saw it in the theater in Belmore. We saw it. There's a lot I'm forgetting though. But I'm gonna stop it here. I'm almost at 45 minutes. I'll call it a. Maybe I'll go a few more minutes. We'll call it a long, gum-chewing long horror movie ramble. There's so many. It's my favorite genre. The thrillers, the horror movies, the supernatural type horror movies and stuff. They just are. I can't get enough of them. And I like the found footage stuff as well a ton. I used to be subscribed. I don't know if it's still a thing. It was like $2 a month or $3 a month. It was just all found footage movies. It was kind of cool because there was stuff you couldn't find elsewhere. It was so much. But there's so many of them now. A lot of which I cannot remember. Let me look up some of those. We'll end it on that, and then it will spark my memory. There was Blair Witch Book of Shadows. I have soft spots for. I like that movie. I didn't like that other one that came out in like 2017 or whenever. That was a continuation of the original. Apparently they're making another one. Bad Ben. I forgot about the Bad Ben movies. This guy just like films these. I forget what his name is. There's a bunch of them now. The first one, they're not bad movies for what they are. The first one's like legitimately pretty creepy as well. And there's a bunch of those. They were on Amazon. I don't know if they still are. Willow Creek was, I think, directed by Bobcat Goldthwait. Cool movie. Where it's like a Bigfoot type movie. And that's Bigfoot's in a lot of movies as well. I saw a movie, I can't remember what it's called, where these like people are on dirt bikes in the woods and they kill Bigfoot's kid. And Bigfoot just comes for revenge and starts fucking shit up. A lot of Lost in the Woods. There's one called Yellow Brick Road. That's really good. I think it's called that. It has to do with like this path, kind of, it's like a Wizard of Oz type thing, but it's like this path into the woods, and the deeper you go, the more shit gets fucking weird in the head. I would check that one out. But this Willow Creek one, these people in a tent, and a lot of it's just them in the tent getting tormented by like Bigfoot out there. It's actually pretty good. The last broadcast was 1998. The house that October built was like a. There was a lot of these too. They make a lot of the escape room type movies now, where people are stuck in an escape room, or somebody's having a haunted house, but there's really a killer in there type things. A lot of House of October built, I think, is that type of movie. Tunnel. The Dark Tapes, that's a show. The Quarantines. The VHS movies, I like most of them. Those are little found footage, kind of like, it's like an anthology thing, and there's like the beginning and the end one that are interconnected that they go to after each one. Those are hit or miss. Not hit or miss, I guess. Most of them are really good. There's one or two that aren't that great. But those are like a lot of very strange shit. There'll be creatures, strange shit, cults, hauntings, loops, and all types of shit like that. The Bay was a cool one. That was like a cabin fever type one. The water, something's in the water. That's what it ends up being. But you don't get, you can't pass it to each other. You just get it through the water. And this cabin fever did that. And the Bay is similar. But it was like a giant potato bug that like it got in the water and then people started to like puke and all types of fucking shit happens. It's like disgusting. Or maybe they swallow and bugs eat them out from the inside. That was a good one though. I haven't seen it in a while. Late Night with the Devil was a cool movie. I liked the way that was filmed. I liked the look of that movie. That was with David, I forget his name. Like Mastel, I don't know. I could like. That was a good movie. He was great in that. That was like a possession type movie. That was a good one. See, I forgot a lot of these movies. Grave Encounters. Creep. There was The Last Exorcism. Then there was The Last Exorcism 2, which I always get a kick out of. If you know you're making a sequel, call the first one the second to Last Exorcism. It was the same thing with A Haunting Connecticut 2, Ghosts of Georgia. Maybe there's a reason that was called that. But I'm like, wait, The Haunting in Connecticut 2, but now we're moving further down the East Coast to Georgia? What? I don't know. The Last Exorcism 2. Phoenix Forgotten, I remember. That was a found footage movie. UFO stuff as well, we'll talk about. And you have stuff like Cloverfield, the creatures, big creature. You could say Godzilla, but Godzilla I don't think are horror movies. The creature movies, right? Well, Cloverfield's the found footage type thing. Fuck. And I just completely forgot. The UFO stuff. The Fourth Kind was a super, and it was supposed to be real shit, but they did a great job. It actually wasn't real. Super creepy movie. Creepy as fuck. UFO stuff's creepy. Like, an alien from another planet's just going to come into your house. There's nothing you can do, and it's going to take you. There's nothing you can do about it. But that movie was creepy as fuck, and then you found out it was fake, and it lost a lot of its kind of thing. Because I thought they used real footage, but then you find out that was all bullshit. I should have known. I should say, because Mila Jovovich is in that, but it was like, we're using real footage from this, and then I was like, shit, they got me. It was still a good movie the first time you see it once. There's other UFO stuff, like A Fire in the Sky, which was based on a true story. The people, whether or not you believe them, I believe in all this stuff, sure. I'm gonna be like, yes. Not everybody's full of shit. Same thing with like ghosts and stuff. Right? But, especially now they're releasing all types of alien documents. What else? I'm trying to think of some other alien type movies. Yeah, Independence Day, but those are action movies. Because the other stuff is more creepy when they just come in and grabbing you and disappear, you know. Phoenix Forgotten, I think that might have involved UFOs. But yeah, I'm going to end it there. Or do I want to go full hour? Tubi has a lot of this shit too. Let's see what Tubi has. Because Tubi popped up. I love Tubi. They got the Rex. Poughkeepsie Tapes is fucking disturbing. Great movie though. That's a lot of like they're going through old videotapes of this like guy who was killing people and tormenting and all this fucked up shit. Lake Mungo, great fucking movie. That movie is creepy as fuck too, and I don't want to talk about it because it involves doppelgangers and stuff, but there's like a thing at the end where if you noticed it in the beginning, it was there in the things in the beginning, you know, throughout the movie as well. Great movie though, Lake Mungo. What was this? I forget this one movie, and it had there's Butterfly Kisses actually. It's on Tubi. Last broadcast is as well. There was one, I can't remember the name of it. It was kind of a possession thing, but it wasn't overly creepy. The Innkeepers is a very slow burn, very kind of creepy-ish haunting type movie. there was a, I forget what this movie was called. It might have been the guy who directed it. Might have done Blair Witch. I cannot remember. But the end of it's super creepy. It's like the creepiest part. It's not a bad movie, but the woman like goes out and there is like a kind of a demon thing. It's like got kind of antlers and stuff, and it sits there and like embraces her at the end. It's a very creepy scene. It just like appears. There's one I watched that was pretty cool. It had a creepy part. I think that's on Tubi too. It's a found footage one. The guy goes in the woods. It's like this thing, you know, haunting every night. You see this ghost. He goes in the woods and a bunch of stuff happens to him. He ends up getting out, but you see at the end, like on his one camera, there's like you see the ghost demon thing in the background. It's really cool. There was another one I can't remember the name where someone goes in the woods and you see something in the background in the beginning too. I love when they do that kind of. You might not see it, maybe you do. Very subtle. I like that kind of stuff. And there's Paranormal Entity. I think I've watched that. If it's done well, it's creepy as fuck. Then you have the serial killer stuff like the Endgame or John Gacy and stuff like that as well. Ted Bundy, those kind of people as well. The serial killer movies. Those are more thrillers though as well, like the Zodiac and stuff. Maybe, you know what? I'm going to make it a fucking hour. Fuck it. Because then I could just say an hour long. Hopefully everybody likes it. I'm not wasting an hour of my time. But that's how I have to kind of look it up to find some of these movies. Or maybe I won't even go an hour. I don't fucking know. It doesn't matter. It's long enough at the moment. You know, I'm not going to go an hour. Fuck it. Because I need to find more shit. But horrors, thrillers, supernatural, found footage, creatures. I love all that stuff. When it's done well, it's great. And there's so much of it that you're going to find something good. Like I said, with horror and stuff, some people are going to be creeped out by things other people don't get creeped out by, and vice versa. But yeah, it's just a long, gum-chewing horror, supernatural, thriller movies, Ramble. And thanks for checking this out. And